Hi, I am Cager on two wheels, and today is the day for the CB300, or rather, the CBR300R. And look, it's such a pirate, it's even got an eye patch. So this is Honda's final answer for the Ninja 250 hegemony on the starter bikes. So they made it slightly bigger. This is actually a CBR300 V2 second version. It's still a single cylinder engine. This is the 250 but upgraded. This one has ABS, as you can see there from the ring and the ABS sensor. Quick tip: if you want to see if a bike has ABS, search for this, or even better, search for a second wire other than the brake caliper thingy. Okay, there's an issue right off the bat. First things first, 17-inch rim, 110 tire at the front, 150 at the rear, but the stock tire is an amazing Roadwinner IRC, which is a horrible tire. Okay, so you buy one of these, you junk these tires, and you get a proper decent tire on it. Okay, so other than that, it is the CBR300 single cylinder, developing 30 horsepower, I think. You've got your rubberized foot pegs to prevent vibration, that's why they're like that. The passenger foot pegs are also like that, even though I prefer the minimalistic ones. One thing I don't like in some of these bikes is that you cannot remove the passenger foot pegs because they're holding on to the exhaust. This single disc brake at the front and at the rear, ABS on both wheels as is usual. A cool, sexy looking non-LED tail lamp. Ugly ass indicators stock for Honda, also equipped the CBF125. Chain drive, as would be normal. And it's just a single cylinder 250, it's just like the Ninja. It looks a bit sportier. This is the only Honda bike where I really like the tricolor scheme, because this blue is really pretty, looks really cool. Okay, these are all stickers, so you can remove them. And so yeah, that's the walk around on this. It's got a dual headlamp, low beam, high beam. Now about the bike. So that's the Voltus. This is the Voltus effect. Look at that. About the bike. Let's turn her off, turn her on. Same dash as the 250. As you can see, okay, it's got clip-ons. It's a tiny bike with clip-ons. Have I ever rode? Yeah, I have ridden a bike with clip-ons. So let's get going. That's first gear. Okay, that was sounds good. Let's go for a ride. Okay, riding position, not quite as extreme as the YZF-R125, but it is still quite sporty. And it's pretty smooth for a single cylinder one. I'm amazed. It sounds good. It really does sound good. It doesn't sound good here, but from behind it does have a low rumble, a low brum. It is stiff. I'm very bunched. I'm not leaning forward, but my knees are very high, very bent. And I'm leaning forward a bit. It is not as extreme as the YZF-R, but more than sporty enough. And from the front, it looks like a little Fireblade. So yeah, that's approved. And it's nice and light. I am quite enjoying this. Even though I can't see the dash because it is somewhere between my knees, the dashboard. Can't even see how fast I'm going because it is way down there. But you do have a temperature gauge, a odometer, a clock, and the fuel gauge, and that's about it. Also has my preferred setup of digital digital speedo and analog rev counter. Oh, that's a Panigale. It's a pretty cool looking bike. And leaning off, it leans off quite well. Mirrors are way out there, but then again they do work, so these long stalks are actually a plus, even though they look a bit funky from inside the bike. From outside the bike, not so much. Okay, but one thing that really came to mind when I first looked at this bike is the build quality is awesome. Everything is more than perfect. In fact, I would actually say, this might sound a bit weird, but I would say this seems to have been built with more care and more finesse than the CB650, which is pretty odd, because this looks really, really good. Everything seems to be fitted. Okay, it's also always flexible, but there's no gaps and stuff. And the materials look really nice. And I really like this material here. Shiny plastic looks great. Wow, it corners really nice. It feels planted and agile, which is odd to say the least. And it has ABS for a starter bike, so this is actually Honda trying to get into the whole everyone starts with a Ninja market. Well, this, I'd have to say, right off the bat, just from the specs, would be better than the Ninja, because it is, I think it's lighter, it is more powerful, and it has ABS, which for a learner is the difference between living and dying. Quite literally. Because ABS can really save your ass when you clamp onto the brakes like an idiot because you don't know how to ride yet. Let's see how this goes. Well, it doesn't really have that much of a punch. It is only a 300, okay? But it's no slouch. This is not a 40 horsepower bike, it's a 30 horsepower bike, and it shows. So you're never overwhelmed by the speed unless you're coming in from a 1 to 5. But, well, frankly, this is a good learner bike. If Katerina likes the RC 125, and if she likes sport bikes, I might get her one of these. That would be pretty cool, watching Katerina on one of these. I have to say, I'm liking this. Yeah, tires aren't that good. I can feel, I'm finally beginning to be good enough to feel the tires and getting to the conclusion where these tires suck. Well, that's a lot of bikes. I'm only using low revs, I'll use the high revs coming up, which will probably be the Portuguese video, which you are welcome to go and take a look at the very least for the riding up. Although I will be speaking Portuguese, but this one looks... Oh, I don't care, I'm going to do my test run. I do not care, I will do the test run, my test road with it, and he can complain later. Let's try some serious lineage off here, like so. Although I am a bit scared of this bike. That was a subscriber who usually comes here on Sundays, and that's a group of idiots. Come on, man. So yeah, I'm not pushing because I'm not used to her yet, but I like it. It's an interesting bike. It's not hard to ride. It feels sporty, but it is still easy to ride, like all Hondas are, frankly. It is sporty enough. That's just... The engine is enough. It's only a 300, but for a 300 it seems to be cool enough, okay? Now I've been only using the low range. I'll use the high range when I'm coming back up the hill. The engine looks competent enough for a 300. Tires are bad, okay, that is a thing that's got to be changed ASAP. Just use those tires for the summer, and then when the rains come you get some proper decent tires and go to town on this one. Build quality seems to be good. It's nice and stable and agile and all that. It is stable, but it becomes agile because it's really light, so it's very like the KTM 390 in terms of niceness to ride and being agile and moving around. Okay, look, it's got clip-on, so this is a bit hard to do. It's I can't quite explain it. Well, let's just say I like it. Okay, where are Arunca Tours going? Where is Arunca Tours going? You're not going to go up, huh? Right? Okay. So let's see you on the other side. So here we are on the twisties. I've been riding this all the way down on the Portuguese video, and now it's going to be going up on the English one. And now the tires, these shitty tires, are warmed up. Let's see if I can go on the high revs here. It is only a 300s, but it's a buzzy engine. There's quite it's vibrating quite a lot on my hands at the higher, a very extreme range of revs. It does vibrate quite a lot. Well, that's a single cylinder for you. Remember, this is not an A2 bike, it is under that, it is a starter bike, so it should never be too powerful so as not to scare people. I'll talk about the brakes after this climb, because the brakes are a bit different, the ABS actually. Oh yeah, this, you can lean easily. Look, I'm leaning. I'm leaning! Yeah, it works. You can have fun on this, okay? Between this and the Ninja, I don't know, because I've never tried the Ninja, but this is a good starter bike. It's easy to ride, it is forgiving. See, you can do it like this. You are going to have fun. You do feel like Rossi, you are leaning forward, you are on a sporty position, but it's not too much. It's not going to break your back or your ankles or the bank. So it's a good sport starting bike. Fast enough for a starter and safe enough because it does have ABS. However, the ABS has it's not quite an issue. It's like this. Listen. That was the rear. See? Did you hear it squeaking? That's because the ABS isn't quite that intrusive. Now let's try braking only with the front. Let's see if I don't crash. Well, now it didn't happen, but previously when I hit the front brake harshly, activating ABS, the front went a little jittery. It actually changed direction quite appreciably. Why? Because it locked up, because the ABS is not quite that intrusive. Let's try it again and try not to die. And I could feel going, yeah. The ABS is on this one, the brakes are nice, okay? The brakes are strong, but the ABS lets you lock up a little bit before it starts activating, which is bad on one hand. Yeah, the brakes are nice. The ABS locking up only after you lock up a bit is bad on one hand because it is not as safe, but it's very good for beginners because then they have a perfect indication on when they are braking wrongly. So that's good practice, you know? Because ABS does give you a bad habit of just clamping onto the brakes. And with this one, if you clamp onto the brakes, you're not going to lock up, but you are going to be in trouble because you will feel the bike jittering and locking up, and there will be issues. So you learn not to do it, and you better learn to threshold braking. So this ABS is not intrusive enough to prevent you from doing threshold braking, which is when you are braking and your wheel is not locked, but it is under rotating. Let's see here. Yeah, the wheel is under rotating, so it squeals. It's not quite stopped, but it is going slower than you are actually moving forward, and that's the maximum you can brake. So this allows you to do that. But yeah, I like this bike. It feels nice in the corners, and it's fun. It's a fun, lively bike. Okay, it's like you want a light bike for some lineage fun that's not too expensive, so if you crash it you're not going to cry too much, but you don't want to buy a 600cc bike because it's too heavy, and you don't want to buy 125 because it doesn't have power. That's in between. That works. Not going to be able to go with you, so, but I will try. Well, that's it for this bike. KJ Rod. Oh, I like how that license plate is vertical.